Hi and welcome to my office. Today's subject is the F-Stop Ajna 40 litre, 2 years on. How have I been going with it? Well, not bad really, considering some of the things that I was a bit unhappy with at the start when I first bought it. I did a review on this product, my thoughts on the negatives and the positives about the bag. Why I bought the bag in the first place was it was lightweight. Pure and simple, it was lightweight. Now, one of the negatives I talked about was the straps, the shoulder straps. And here's my thoughts from when I first bought the bag. Very thin foam in there, bro. There's just not a lot there. Obviously, they're sort of aimed at people that aren't going to be using it for hours and hours and hours. Alright, so they are thin. This bag is not designed for overnight hiking. It's not designed for absolute comfort. It's just designed as more of a day bag, but really not a day bag. It's just travel to and from a place that may take you an hour and a half to 2 hours each way, and it'd be comfortable enough. I have 9.5 kilos in this bag all the time, so it's the weight of the bag plus the gear. It is all in one, 9.5 kilos. Now these straps, I go on long 2-3 day hikes sometimes. So what I've done is I put a piece of foam on there. I haven't velcroed them yet, which is silly of me, but I haven't done any overnight hiking for about 1.5 years now. But if I went to go on one, I would definitely velcro them in, because then they're not moving around all over the place. That's the only way to make this bag comfortable. Right, so when I'm wearing a jumper, it's fine. I don't really notice it much unless I'm going for a 3-hour hike or something somewhere. Then you start to notice it a bit. But otherwise, with a jumper on, it's okay for coming out in my reserve straight after work, just on weekends. But as soon as I take my jumper off and wear a t-shirt like I am now, it cuts in straight away. Don't have to be walking for more than 10 minutes for it to feel it with that weight in it. But that's really it. It stood up to the test of time. The plastic is lasting. I sort of thought by now maybe it might start falling apart. You know, you get that plastic corrosion, they just breaking. But they're not. They're looking okay. And same with the zips. They're still really easy to pull up and down. I made comment on that, you know, they've sort of skimped a bit on a few things, which I got a few comments on, with the zips especially, because you have 2 rubber ones, one on the top and one on the back, but the side ones and these, they're not rubber coated. It's proven not to be a big deal anyway, but I just wondered why they'd done that. You know, like you look at Low Pro, all the zips on the bag are waterproof or rubber coated to help out with, so the material doesn't soak up moisture as well. Right, so let's have a talk about the bag as far as it being waterproof. I never trust any bag. I mean, that doesn't matter how much they say this is, you know, 100% waterproof material, blah blah blah. I still would never trust it. I always put a cover, a waterproof cover, just to really make sure, because when I was a young bloke, my first backpack, went on a 3-day hike, wasn't supposed to be any bad weather coming, and we got absolutely hammered on the 3rd day. It was horrible. The water just went right through my bag, even though it was supposed to be waterproof. Went through the zips and just, since then, never trust them. So I always have one of them. That cover actually still will go over the whole bag, even when I've got my small tripod on the back here for the DSLR, so it still covers all right. All right, now I'm going to show you an excerpt clip, a time-lapse clip of my trip away a couple of weeks ago down to Phillip Island. Something happened to me that was quite alarming at the time. Holy shit! I have to have a look at my bag and see how it is, and then get the water out of my bloody boots. Oh, so the bag actually floated 4 meters. And if there wasn't something wrong with the bag, I wouldn't have had any leaks or anything at all. So it sort of showed that the bag was actually waterproof. Now, what I'm talking about has nothing to do with the manufacturing of this bag. There is a hole here through my own, well, it's my own fault that hole is there. And when I'm out in the bush, I always take honey in a bottle that has a little pump pack, so that I can draw the Agile Antechinus, little carnivorous marsupial that I love to film, photograph, my passion. So I can draw it out in the open and I can get some nice film and photographs of it. So I had it in a bag. On this particular day, I was up on a platform that I'd made so that I could film the inside of a nesting box that I had built, so that I could film a mother Agile Antechinus bringing up her young. So while I was doing that, I could hear something nibbling at my bag, and I could see the bag moving just down below me, and I shot down and had a look, and it was the bogle, a native rodent to Australia, eating his way into the bag. So what happened was, as my bag's been floating along in the ocean, the water's managed to get its way into the top compartment, and lucky actually that I had a toilet roll in there for emergencies. It soaked up all the water, and it's the only spot that I actually got water in, except for somewhere else. On the back here we have those waterproof zips for a compartment at the back. And I've gone really dark now because it's going cloudy and I had full sunlight before. So I'll just click down a little bit with one of my filters. Just excuse my body for a minute. That's a bit better. The sun will come out again now, I suppose. So I have my downy jacket that packs away to absolutely nothing in here all the time. Now, I don't know what. Anyway. Normally, this is how I have the bag, with all the straps neat and tidy, done away. So that means, unless you undo the strap, your zip doesn't go all the way. And on this particular day, I haven't checked it to make sure that it's all zipped up and everything. It was a nice sunny day and everything, so I wasn't really, exposure's okay, worried about my bag, and so I didn't check it. But that's what normally happens if you don't pull that off and check everything. The zip's not, you can't get it up all the way. So I had a little bit of water on the top of my jacket, but luckily it didn't go in any more than that. It was just a little bit on the jacket, that the jacket actually soaked it up a little bit. But otherwise, it didn't get in. The water did not get in. So the material is pretty well waterproofed, even after all this time. As you can see, maybe you can see, this bag is terribly stained. I'm rough with it. I don't really care too much about throwing my bag down on the ground when it's even a bit dewy or whatever. It doesn't worry me that much. So it's been punished a lot. It's stained, grass stains. Yeah, I wash it when I remember to, but when I go home I tend to switch off and forget to give it a clean. So it gets tortured, and it's still fairly waterproof after 2 years. And I'm talking pretty well much every day I am out in this reserve. And on the weekends. I like to keep my finger on the pulse and know what's going on in here all the time. Don't want to miss out on anything. So it's done really well. You have that rubber on the bottom there, very thick and everything like that. So look, it's lasting, the zips, everything, stitching, everything is holding together so far. That's pretty good, I think, pretty good. And I did make a comment about the build quality. I was unsure about whether it would last, but it has. Now, before we move on, I made a comment about these on here. They're molds for a mole bag and stuff like that, other attachments. But when I originally was looking at the bag online, I thought that they were elastic. Okay, can you see that? Yes, I think you can. I thought that these were elastic. I knew before I bought the bag that you could have the extras on. All I did was make a comment on that I thought these were elastic, so that means that I won't be able to use these. And here's that comment. These are not elastic, which I thought they were. They're not. I put my little microphone holder in there. Sennheiser shotgun microphone, that's for. It just fits in. I had to force it in. I don't think I'll be using any of this. If it was elastic, I could have put a lot of things in there. But that comment sparked the actual designer of this bag to contact me. Now, he was very civil about what he was saying, but he gave me the full instructions about what attachments and everything, what it's called, why it's like it is and all that. And I just thought, must be something pretty bad in that guy's life to be scouring the internet looking for people that are doing negative comments on the bag that he's designed. So I never responded to the email. I never respond to negative stuff anyway. But I just thought there must be something going on in his life to make him, hunt around the internet. That's all I did. I simply made a comment that I thought that they were, elastic. But they're not, so it means I wouldn't be able to use them. But in hindsight, like now, I don't think I would have ever used them, even if they did, even if they were elastic. Now, what made me do this review is a couple of weeks ago, a guy did, not really a review, he just talked about that he bought this same bag just recently. And he made the same comment. He thought they were elastic. So this is what sparked me to do this review. Alright, so now, let's move on. This bag is really good for when you're going on an aeroplane. It's just the right size in length and width, as long as you don't fill it up too much. So how I use it is, I take the ICU out with my DSLR and every glass, lenses and stuff in there, and I put it in my suitcase. I put my very valuable video camera that you're looking at me through right now, the UX180, because it's worth a lot more than the camera gear that's in there. I like to have it with me, just in case luggage gets lost. If I lose the 7D Mark II and some of the other things in there, it's not massively expensive to replace them. So that's why I take the ICU out and put it in my suitcase. And I have that camera in there, because it's, say, compact. And I put my jackets and jumpers in here to cushion it all. And some other little bits and pieces. But mainly I keep it as least amount of stuff in there as possible. But this way I put it in the overhead luggage. I know exactly where my camera is, and it's with me all the time. As soon as I leave the aeroplane, it comes with me straight away. So it's good for that. It really is a good overhead luggage bag. Even if I didn't take the video camera, I would have the ICU in there, and it just makes the weight. If I take the clothes, all the extra stuff out and put that in my suitcase, I can have the 17 Mark II with me all the time. Okay, let's quickly finish up by having a look in the bag. What do I carry in my bag that brings the weight of the bag up to 9.5 kilos? Right, so the ICU, we'll just take it out. It's a medium slope, so that means it's higher at one end and lower at the other. It's higher at the back, so that if you have a camera body with an extra, the bottom battery pack on, it'll still fit in there. It's handy just to take out. I can leave all this in the car and I can just pull the ICU out. Now originally when I did my first review, I didn't explain myself properly. I had this zipped up and I was saying that to unzip it you've got to pull back this and sides and pull it a little bit up so it's away from the aluminium frame so that you can unzip it. The reason why I was doing that, I forgot, I left it out. The reason why I zip it up for is if I have small stuff in there, some other batteries, small batteries, AA's, and these batteries for the 17 Mark II, they disappear inside the bag. So that's why I had it zipped up. People have it saying, oh, you've got to have it folded back. I knew that at the time. But anyway, so we have the 17 Mark II with 70 to 300mm lens on there, L lens. A kit lens, whoops, the cap's come off. The kit lens for the 17 Mark II, which is an 18 by 25mm one. Very handy lens. It's not an L lens, it's not real professional sort of lens, but it's okay. It's good for landscape shots. You can get away with it. But what I use it for a lot of time is my close-up lens. That's the 250D close-up lens. It screws on the top. Handy thing to have. Extra batteries for that camera and the 17 Mark II. Normally I have them in this pouch, which we'll get to in a minute. Right, so I have my 600 EX second generation flash. That is such a beautiful, powerful flash. Love having this, and I'm really glad I bought it. And I always take a diffuser with me. I'm not close to some animals. I can put the diffuser on to just diffuse the light off them a bit. And just helps out with aliasing on the fur, which happens with a lot of the animals in here. So flash and that. A spare screw-on ND filter holder, which is friggin' useless at the minute because I've lost my ND filters. I had a satchel with a ton of filters in, up to $600 worth. And I set it in one of my 2 videos ago that I left it in a cow paddock. Well, actually, I finally remembered where I left it. It's at Hall's Gap in the Grampians, up on a ledge where I was taking some landscape shots from. So next time I go back there, I'll have to go and have a look, and hopefully they're there and they were right. Right, I did say that I was going to be quick, didn't I? There's a little pouch up here. Be careful what you put in there. It's very thin material. It could cut in. If it's something sharp, it will cut in. What do you call them? That's a circular polarizer. And I always take a little bit of tinfoil with me to reflect light onto little insects and stuff when I'm using that close-up lens. Helps sometimes. Right up in the top section. And far too long, aren't I? Jumper. Hat, plastic bag to either sit on or put over the UX180 when it's piercing down the rain. Hiking, very thin, very ultralight rain jacket for the UX180 headlamp. That is a very powerful, very cheap headlamp, but it's also a very powerful spotlight. Good for photograph in the night so that the 17 Mark II can actually focus. That's right, using a flash without getting steely eyes. Right, so put all that back in. There, that up as quickly as I can. As I've said, down the bottom compartment there, I've got that rain jacket. I'll zip that up before I forget. Might just slash and cut this video up a lot. You'll probably see that if I'm taking too long on stuff. I'll say something long. Up the top here, we have a little bag which I thought would rip, and it's lasting. It seems to be fairly tough. I put all my batteries in for the headlamp. They're much bigger than the AA's batteries. So, and for my infrared light as well for the video camera, so I can film at night. Up the top we have first aid kit, little notepad. If I meet another photographer, which is a pretty rare thing, I'm a bit of a lonely person. I don't have any friends that are vaguely interested in photography. But if I come across anyone, which is, I've got a lady here from Tasmania. She was writing photographing funguses. Got her number there. We had some contact there a while ago. Handy to have. Mozzie stuff, got to have that there with you all the time. That's got a key holder in it. That's keys for a ladder. It helps me get up onto that platform I showed you before. Plastic bag for my Sennheiser microphone to keep it from getting wet. I always have it over it when it's in the bag, and the same with my cords for it. I can't have them in a plastic bag so that it never gets damaged. Plastic bag also helps the zip, these fur not to get caught in the zip, so it's very handy. There. And now I can speak properly again without damaging my microphone. So that's always on that side, and on the other side, water bottle and a pair of gloves. I usually have winter ones in there that are really waterproof. They're snow gloves and they're fantastic from, what is it? MT something or other? XTMT or something? I can't remember. We'll put it, oh, I've got the same brand here. These are the thin ones I have, and it's XTM. These are, they're not waterproof. They were supposed to be, but they're not. But they are great for cold mornings during the summertime, like now. The tripod actually is quite cold in the mornings, so that helps there, but also keep the mozzies off when you're in a fixed position and they start annoying the crap out of you. I put my beanie in here as well. Showed you what's on the back there. There's plenty of room in there, so you can really, there's lots of straps around the place as well. That's a great little bag, and I've got, oh, an ant biting me there. Alright, bum bag. This has nothing to do with this bag, but it's what I wear all the time. It's the Low Pro, the Low Pro tracker. It's part of that bag that I have that I don't use anymore because this is just so light. I love wearing this bag. I've managed to fix the zips up. They bug it up, but I've managed to fix them. Might show you how to do that one day. But it's a great little bum bag. It's no longer waterproof, but you know, you just work around these things. I don't bring it out if it's pouring with rain. I'll leave it at home. But it's just awesome to have your phone. Second headlamp. This is my emergency one, but it's also good when I'm filming in the night and I just want a very low light. Has low and high. I put it on low so that when I'm checking things on the camera, or maybe as I'm waiting for something to come out using infrared on the camera, I might hear something over here. I can just quickly turn on the light and it's low so it doesn't disturb the animal. See what's happening. Yeah, I do keep batteries in here sometimes. That's my infrared light. Very handy little light, that one's beautiful. Just a bit of sticky tape that I've been using lately. These are headphones for a mobile phone. They plug into the UX180 really good. It's just easy to carry around the bloody headphones. Just want to check and make sure that the audio is working okay. Yeah, so I haven't got much in here normally when I'm just mucking around, but just the extra stuff you want to grab quickly is good. I can put the backpack down and go for a walk, and I've got my mobile phone and everything with me, and a pocket knife to get around. Very important when you're out in the bush by yourself to have a whistle. I've got one on here, and we'll see if it still works. It still works, and that came with the bag. Normally I have a very powerful one in my pouch, but I think I've lost it. It's not there. Anyway, that's the Ajna 40 litre from F-Stop. I don't love it, I don't hate it. It's a good bag, and that's where we'll leave it. If you'd like to subscribe, click on the subscription button down below and you'll get notification whenever I do anything else. And if you'd like to go and have a look at my channel, click on the icon down below. Take my channel. There's over 70 odd videos there now for me doing stuff like this, reviews on camera gear, audio gear, talking about camera stuff, giving you tips about birds in flight, flash photography. Oh, the list goes on and on. There must be something there of interest to you. Now just remember, if you don't do, you don't get. So get out there and start photographing and filming wildlife. I'll just promote my books again. There's a link to them down below. I've made 2 books on the life of the Agile Antechinus. Life as a male and life as a female. Nobody knows about these animals. It's it's something that I'm very passionate about, and I want the world to know about them. I'd say it's very close to 90% of Australians do not know that this carnivorous marsupial, this beautiful little marsupial, actually exists. And probably only about 5% of the world would even know it exists. That's my mission, to tell everybody about the Agile. So if you're interested in buying a book or the ebook version of it, there'll be links in the description section down below. I talk about all aspects of their lives, the facts at the start, and then at the end talk about the individual Agiles that have taught me about their lives. And I've given them names, and yeah, everything that they educated me on, I talk about, and some of the things that they got up to as well. So it's a good read, I promise you.